Hey, this is Christy, Christy Mattoon here. In future videos, you might see me listed as Christy Renea, so I'm going to start going by my first and middle name instead of my first and last name because I'm changing my business form from an LCC and Mind Rewire to a PMA in the form of a ministry, and I'll be using my given name, Christy Renea. So that's kind of fun. I'm super excited about that, and I'll keep you updated on that as it moves forward. The purpose of getting on today is this is going to be class number 1 in a series of posts that I'm going to do detailing beyond heart coherence, what I call beyond heart coherence. And this one will be starting with basic heart coherence. So we're going to get you started in a practice, which is basically what I teach clients to do all the time, without getting horribly specific into issues, because you're not sitting here with me. I can't go through your issues with you. But we'll use the basic emotions that people struggle with and some of the basic ideas that people struggle with. So if that's you, you can definitely use that. But you'll get the idea and be able to translate it into work for yourself, which is the whole point. So this is going to be heart coherence basic. This is course number 1 or class number 1, whatever you want to call it. And I'll go through very specific steps on how to do this. And a lot of you already know heart coherence. You already have an idea of how it works. I'm going to teach you how I understand it, how it was taught to me through St. Germain. You absolutely can go to the heart coherence people, Heart Math, and get all the science on this, because there's a ton of it, right? So we know that the heart field is measurable. We know that when the heart is coherent, when you're doing this kind of a practice, you're actually sending a point, I think it's 0.1 hertz energy equivalent back to your brain, and it signals your brain to start doing certain things like sending out chemicals and healing instructions basically for your body. So the more coherent you stay, the more resilient you become, and probably the more, I want to say the healthier you become. It certainly helps from the science that we understand, replacing like the telomere caps on the end of your DNA strands, right? Which they say that is something that when those telomere caps are gone, that's kind of signaling the end of the physical body. So, and however much truth is in that, I have no idea. I'm just repeating what the science says. And unfortunately, we all know that the science isn't always telling us what the truth is. So, having said that, we do know heart coherence works. I have plenty of clients that I have taught heart coherence to and have absolutely changed their lives. Learning heart coherence myself was not through Heart Math. I learned it through, I want to say my spirit before I knew it was my spirit. So one of my guides taught me heart coherence, which was my spirit, and an angelic team that I called on at the time, which was Yeshua and another angel that kept showing up that I didn't know who was, but now I'm pretty certain that was St. Germain. So that was pretty fantastic. I learned a lot, and I'm still learning a lot. It hasn't stopped. So one of the things I want to tell you when you engage in a heart coherent practice is that it's a daily routine, and it's not a practice, it's a lifestyle. It's like deciding to go on a diet and then treating it like it's just a period of time, and then you can go back to doing everything you were doing before and not reap the ramifications, right? So if you're eating horrible food that's causing you physical issues and weight problems, and then you realize that and you go on a diet, and then you eat really well for a while to fuel and inform your cells and to get your body back to a regulated kind of situation, and engage your health and engage yourself, right? You change your body and everything changes, and you're like magnificent. And then you go, okay, that's done. I can go back to doing what I was doing before. What will happen? Right? Same thing. You'll get sick, you'll get fat. That's just the way it works. So this is no different. And you have to understand that. If you decide to go and engage in a practice, and it changes you fundamentally as a person, and you do it for a period of time, and you're like, whew, I'm glad I did that. That's done. I'll go back to doing what I was doing before. And you go back, you will go back to being what you were being before. You understand? I know you understand. So don't do that. If you are going to decide to engage in this practice and follow these videos, feel free to email me and ask me questions. Drop comments below the video and ask me questions. I do my best to get back to people on that. If you want a session, email me and ask for a session. We'll figure out what price point works for you, because I'm totally okay with that. I usually do $100 an hour. But if you can't do that, say something. I'm pretty flexible. I'm pretty bendable. And continue in the practice, right? It's not a one and done thing. It's not a one and done thing. Will you get the miracle answer and everything be healed? I've seen it happen. I've seen it not happen. I've seen it be the arduous task of going through the process, which is fine, right? If that's what you do, then that's what you have to do. But while you're doing that, you will learn all kinds of fantastic things, which is the coolest part about this, right? You couldn't be engaging in this in a better period of time. Let me tell you that. And here's why. In 2023, I have been given information that it is going to be fantastic. I don't know what that means. I'm like, okay, I hope it's fantastic, because the last time I thought a year was going to be fantastic, quite frankly, it turned into shit. So I don't take it with a grain of salt, though. It's going to be fantastic, meaning there's going to be a lot of stuff changing. And if you can maintain yourself, if you can get yourself into a state and maintain your state, it's going to be fascinating watching how this all shifts and where you shift and how you grow with it, right? I guarantee you in this period of time, you cannot continue doing the same things you were doing before and grow and move into this in a fashion that's just going to be an easy flow, right? And there's people all over the place saying this is going to get tough. It's going to get ugly. It's going to get hard out here. I agree, it is. What are you going to do in here? Because it's the maintenance here that will alter out here for you specifically. Yeah. If you understand what I just said, you will get into this practice and you will not leave it because it will ride you through this storm in a different way than you would have gone without the practice. Without the practice, I'm going to guess this is going to turn into a fight. People will be scrapping for food, for things, for whatever, I don't even know. With this practice, it will literally become a game of how do I stay coherent? How do I stay inside my own being and walk in the light? You are the light. How do I walk in the light through a very dark world? Because that's what it's coming to. And it's going to be fascinating. And the people who rise above it are going to ride the storm out, right? And they say into the golden age, and I say whatever that means. I mean, we've seen those come and go throughout history. So, you know, it's up to you. It's what you choose. It's what you decide. And it's how you decide to engage in it. Okay. All right. Let's move into the description of heart coherence. If you don't know what heart coherence is, let me describe it by telling you what brain coherence is. Brain coherence is the idea of Psych K. It's the idea of EMDR. It's the idea of, I'm going to forget what it's called, but it's the one that works with the kiddos with ADD and ADHD, and they help them get their brain aligned, coherent, so that they can function better. If you are not brain coherent, you are usually one side or the other, right? You're more left-brained or more right-brained. If you're more left-brained, it's Bill Gates scenario, like to the nth degree. That's the worst case scenario, possibly, all the way down to lesser, just kind of narcissistic, you know, and weird, I don't know, crazy kind of stuff, like weirdos. I don't know how to say that nicely. Left brain, right? If you're really stuck in your left brain, you can utilize your left brain without being stuck in it. Don't get me wrong. If you're right brained, you're more the creative, airy-fairy, creative, floaty kind of person, right? To the nth degree, I don't know who to use as an example for that. But if you're whole brain, you're a combination of those two, because the information passes the barrier down the center of your brain, the corpus callosum. Information flows back and forth smoothly. You can use your left brain, you can use your right brain. You're not stuck in one side or the other. Okay. And that's called coherence. When the brain is whole and coherent and information is moving. Coherent. When you are heart coherent, the brain is whole, information's moving back and forth. The heart is whole also and open. And then information flows up the system. Okay, so when you are heart coherent, which is what I'm about to show you how to do, the information from your heart moves up into the brain in a chemical form and causes all kinds of alterations and things to happen, including putting a new feeling inside your body. And you'll find out here in a second, it's learning how to stay in that feeling, right? It's quite fantastic. So you're basically giving yourself an upgrade of neuropeptides, of the chemical system, chemical hormonal system of your body that we call feeling, right? So we're upgrading the level of feeling. The New Age sphere and some of the spiritual people might call it a raise in your vibration. You're raising your vibration. You can do that without being heart coherent, but when you are heart coherent, it's a totally different thing, totally different subject. All right, so from there, what I want to tell you is that when you are heart coherent, what you're accessing is what's described in ancient literature, specifically in the Bible. And don't take this religiously, I'm just pulling information. And that's all that book was information in a good way. Some of it was good, some of it was just like, that's a whole nother story. We'll go into that later. We got taught wrong. In Psalms 91, it says, in the secret space of the Most High, there I abide. And what the text we have, or that I've had, says, there I abide with the Lord God Almighty. And then we find out the word God isn't there and the word Lord isn't there. The original word was probably Elohim or possibly Yahweh in Psalms. I'm not sure which one it was. But in the secret space of the Most High. What is the secret space of the Most High? Do you know? Now, I've listened to a lot of preachers and a lot of stuff for years, right? And was always taught that the secret space of the Most High, there I abide with the Lord God Almighty. The secret space was talking about Yahweh, or talking about Yeshua, talking about Jesus Christ. And knowing what I know now and understanding it how I understand it now, and after many talks with my spirit and many talks with Yeshua and many talks with what I think are entities or beings from that space and time, the secret space of the Most High is inside your heart, your physical heart. And that secret space, I used to call it the dwelling space of your spirit. That's where your spirit lives, right? Do you have a spirit? Most people would say yes. I'm a spiritual person in a spiritual practice. And some people call it soul, right? I have kind of a different look on that. We won't go into that right now either, but I'll do a separate video on that. Your spirit lives inside this space. As I kept persisting in this, I started understanding that my spirit did not live in this space. My spirit is that space. Did you catch that? My spirit doesn't live in this space. My spirit is this space. Now, where is this space? The secret space of the Most High, which is your spirit. Your spirit is the Most High in the secret space. It's inside your heart or very close to it. Your heart is not off to Is it the left or the right? Where did they always tell us to put our hands to do the American pledge? It's in the center of your chest. All right. It's about the size of your fist is what they say. So mine would be like right there. If you feel your heart pumping off to the side, off to the left side, it's because the aorta comes up and out of the heart and runs down that side of your body, right? So sometimes you'll feel that valve opening or fluttering if you have palpitations, right? You'll feel something over there. But the biggest part of your heart's over here. Here's what I have noticed. I will tell people to put their hands over their heart and then direct their awareness into their heart space. So you're directing it inside the physical heart into this space, and we're looking for this kind of hollow feeling, very peaceful. Once you hit it, you can't deny it. Once you find it, you're just like it makes you melt, right? But people will go like this. And they're like, I can't find it. My heart's blocked. I can't get into my heart. Come over here. Try again. Right? So it's a direct alignment down the center of the body. Crown, third eye, throat, heart. Your heart is here because your heart chakra is here. The energy, right, portal from your heart is here. It's not over here for a reason, because it's here physically in your body. Here. So bring your hands over your heart space, right? So understand that when I say put your hands over your heart, we're going right here. Now, when you go into your heart with your awareness, and I'm assuming you know how to move your awareness. If you don't, comment below and I will make another video on moving awareness. Move your awareness to your heart space. What you are looking for inside your heart space is just kind of this empty, open space. And most people will go in and the brain starts visualizing for you. So you get blood, you get the tissue of the heart. I used to tell people to go find the space, the patch of tissue where the 4 chambers come together and kind of put your awareness in that space and then go backwards from it just a little bit. For whatever reason, most people tend to find it from that space. All right, so we can use that. If not, just let your awareness guide you into your secret space of the Most High. All right, so we're talking to your spirit saying, guide me into you, guide me to where you are. All right, this is the simplest process I have ever done in my life. And I went to see a Greg Braden gig at Gaia Sphere in Boulder, Colorado. Not in the so distant past, maybe a few years now. And he was saying everything I was doing and then gave evidence for it, scientific evidence, and made me sit back and go, wow. Like stuff I've been teaching, and sometimes I question because I'm just like, how can this be true? But I just knew it. I've had that happen with a lot of things. When I learned Psych K years ago, I knew the protocol before she even started talking. I'm like, why do I know this? And the explanation back then was that I had been in Lemuria and I don't know, right? My hands are up. I surrender. I have no idea. But I understood it so fast and knew exactly what she was talking about before she was even finished, that it left me spinning. I was like, this is insanity. And this is no different. The heart coherence thing was no different. So I knew it before it was taught to me by Greg Braden and the heart math kind of thing. So the simplest way to it, and he teaches it a little bit different than I do, but it's basically the same, is 3 breaths. I teach you the breaths in a specific way because physiology follows function. And we want to use the physiology of the body. It gets you there faster. And then you're going to move. I'll guide you to move your awareness into your heart space and then feel gratitude. Now, he goes through a list of things he gives you can feel, but I always say go to gratitude. We've practiced gratitude. You know what gratitude feels like. Go to gratitude because it'll start waking your spirit up, right? And that's what we're trying to do at the end of the day, is get our spirit to move. We want that to become an awakened form of us. Now, a lot of teachers of heart coherent practices just move straight through the heart into outer space and you go float around and hang out. And I've done that too. That's fun. It's nice. But you don't really get to know your own spirit that way. So we have to stop at the door, recognize our spirit, recognize that you are that. That's part of this, is recognizing, like, if I am not this, if this is an illusion, what am I? Who am I? How do I get to know that internal part of me? This is what this is. It's how to get to know that internal, eternal part of you, right? People call it the higher self, the inner self, the God self, your spirit. I call it spirit. Call it whatever you want to call it. Know that I call it spirit. That part of you is entangled with everything outside of you and everything unseen and everything inside of you. It all kind of turns into this collapsing, folding, ever moving, knowledge, wisdom based experience. And it's the goal of being able to recognize it as yourself and then staying there, right? And remaining in it. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense, right? Usually I have somebody bouncing questions off me while I'm teaching this, but I'm just going to keep rolling because I don't have that. And what we're going to do right now is take a drink. So if you have water, hydrate yourself. This is organic tea that I'm drinking with a little bit of organic honey in it. Local honey, actually. All right. We're going to go through the quick process of getting heart coherent. It's 3 breaths. I am setting a timer on my phone. Let me find the timer. There we go. I'm setting a timer on my phone for 3 minutes because that's how long we're going to sit and do this. So I'm on a video. Know that I'm going to probably sit here and be quiet for 3 minutes. You might hear me doing this. All right, so you might hear some gongs from that was a good one, from my singing bowls back behind me because I'm playing with vibration in form of tone, which is super fun. But we're going to do it for 3 minutes. And all you're going to do is keep your awareness in your heart. I will keep bringing you back to it. I'll keep reminding you, and I'll tell you when your 3 minutes is up. Your goal is to be the curious observer. That's it. Be the curious observer. Once you get there, just observe, notice, pay attention. Pay attention. All right. Keep your awareness and focus there. Okay. Ready? Okay. Here we go. I want you to do a big inhale. This is how we breathe. As you inhale, I want you to open up your rib cage. Right? Everything shouldn't just go up like this. It should open like this, right? Big 360-degree manner. You've got joints at the sides of your rib cage, joints in the front, and joints down your spine, and it opens and closes. Most people don't breathe that way. They breathe like this. You want it to open. Breathe in as much as you can, and then exhale. Now, when you inhale, the first inhale or any inhale, as you're inhaling and you're opening, your spine should elongate. Your pelvic floor should drop because what's happening, pelvic floor is dropping and your diaphragm is pulling down, pulling oxygen into your lungs. Right? Spine elongates. You'll see me get a little bit taller. Pelvic floor drops. If you pay attention, you'll start noticing these things. It can get really interesting. As you exhale, I always say just, right, exhale through your mouth, inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. As you exhale, your exhale should be a little bit longer than your inhale. The reason we do that is because it calms the amygdala, it calms the limbic brain, it calms your system down. And as you're exhaling, why it's calming you down is because you're putting oxygen and energy deeper into your cellular structure on every long exhale, right? Usually we're breathing shallow and slow, but if you get a big inhale, if I inhale for 4 seconds, I want to exhale for 5 or 6. So sometimes you'll see me sitting here counting. because I'm paying attention. I want to exhale longer than I inhale. I'm harping on this because I want you to get it, right? It's the best way to calm your system down. Okay, so we're going to do that 3 times, and then I'm going to direct you into your heart space. Here we go. Are you ready? Big inhale. Open up that rib cage, really let it expand. When you're ready, exhale. Nice and slow. When you're ready, inhale. Let that rib cage open up and expand. You might feel your spine elongate. You want to straighten that spine out. Pelvic floor will drop. And then on your exhale, everything comes back in. Pelvic floor rises. And a big inhale. Open up that rib cage. This is your 3rd inhale. On your exhale, I want you to place your hands over your heart. Close your eyes and then direct your awareness inside your heart space. Now, if your brain is going and telling you all kinds of stuff, just gently keep pushing it aside, let it go aside. I'll give you even better ways of emptying your brain later, but for now, just push it aside. Move your awareness into your heart. If you need to, come to that patch of tissue where all 4 of the chambers come together. And then just feel around, maybe slide backwards toward the back of your heart a little bit until you find that place, the secret space of the Most High. And I've got the timer going. You found that place already. I want you to become more aware. Put all your focus into this area. If your brain pulls you out and you drift around, just gently bring yourself back. It's okay. All of your awareness in this space. Pay attention to what it feels like. If you're not finding what you're looking for, if you're not finding what I'm calling the secret space, or you don't think you found it, just keep moving yourself around. Some people say it's like walking into a cave, or it's like walking into a dark field. Walking into the universe, the edge of the unknown. When you find it, just hold your awareness there. You can even start talking in this space. Is this my spirit? I am presence. Is this you? Notice what you feel. You just want to become entangled with this presence by putting our awareness on it and get to know this part of ourself, this internal, eternal part of ourself. And I want you to take another big breath. That 3 minutes is up. Nice big inhale, a nice long exhale. Don't open your eyes just yet. Keep your hands on your heart. Keep feeling that place. Can you recognize that this is your internal self? This is your higher self? Can you feel it? Now, when you open your eyes, here's the trick. Here's the trick. Don't let go of your feeling. Don't let go of your feeling. When you open your eyes, try and maintain that feeling. What does it feel like? Type your comments below. What does it feel like? What are you noticing? What are you sensing? What are you feeling? I mean, sometimes I don't even know what to say. I'm always in awe. I'm always in awe. You feel lighter. You feel different. You feel better. You could put yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. And I've done this before with people too. Have yourself notice your body first and go through and feel and just notice. Write down what you're noticing. So then once you do your 3 minutes and you come back out, you can look back at that and see what's different. Because pain will go away. Things will change because you're literally altering the chemical state of your body. Yeah? It's very powerful. And when you start engaging with your spirit, it becomes even more powerful. Because that part of you is the part that moves on from this physical body. It holds the information of who you were before. Where'd you come from? What are you really? Excuse me. I'm still getting over my last bout with the crap that they spread around over us, the poison. Who are you really? What does it feel like? What does it feel like? Here's what this will do for you in everything that's going on right now. If I stay coherent, I get through it easier, including the illnesses, including whatever they're spraying over the top of us. Right? Do you know what I'm talking about? You all know what I'm talking about at this point. No matter what they do, and somebody inevitably is going to say, who is they? The secret societies that have taken over our world, the governments that pretend to be for the people and are not. Like, come on, we know who they are. It alters your designation in the energy field to that. They have less of an ability to affect you, and they cannot mess with your spirit if you stay coherent. If you are physically aware of your spirit self, they cannot mess with you. Did you know that? Only when you're here, you're trapped in your brain fighting about what's going on and what do I do next and how much do I need to stock up and how much do you save and where do you turn and what do you do and all the craziness that's going on around us and the stuff that we're being told. What happened if you got heart coherent and asked your spirit, do I need that? Do I need to do that? Should I read this? Should I watch that? And your spirit goes, nah, no. And then you find out your spirit was right the whole time. I didn't need to do any of it. And I don't know, you got to play with this, right? You have to go in and talk to your spirit, feel it, be in it. Let me ask you this question. After I said all that stuff, can you still feel it? Because sometimes just listening to people talk about the negative stuff will throw you sideways. If you did lose your feeling, come back to it. Close your eyes, take a breath, put yourself back in your heart. See how fast you can get back there. And if it takes the 3 minutes, it takes the 3 minutes. But if you can get back there quickly, you'll do better off. Here's the deal with the 3 minutes is it takes that long for the physical function of the chemicals to start altering, right? If you can get to your spirit fast and recognize that part of you, even the chemical alteration quickens, it happens faster. All right. Here's my recommendation. When you do this, don't put yourself in a closet. Don't be in a quiet space. Maybe for the first few times, just to get the roll of it. But don't do that all the time. Learn how to do this in a public space. Learn how to do this when people are around you milling around. Learn how to do this when the world seems like it's about to fall apart. Learn how to do this when your boss is yelling at you. Learn how to do this when your family is kicking you out the door. Learn how to do this when you think that there is nothing left. Learn how to do this when everything is amazing. Learn how to do this when it couldn't get any better. and stay in this coherent space. Excuse me. Stay in this coherent space. It will make you so much more resilient going through anything if you recognize there is something you can do preemptively to keep you from falling back down the hole, right? The proverbial hole. I walked up to the hole, I looked in the hole, I saw it was the hole. I jumped in the hole and landed on my back and laid there for months in agony. And then somebody pulled me out of the hole and I walked around and came back to the hole and looked in the hole and jumped in the hole and broke my ankle and laid there in agony. Somebody came and pulled me out of the hole. How many times do you jump in the hole before you recognize, I got to figure out something else I can do? Now I walk up to the hole, but I know the hole's coming. And before I even get close to the hole, I get heart coherent. And I look at the hole. Hole has no effect on me. I can actually walk over the hole without falling into it. I could go around it. I can go over it. I can go through it. No consequence, because I'm coherent in my own nature, and this does not affect me the same way. It's a different set of rules, right? And they never taught people this till recently. All right. Does that make sense? Here's your homework. You'll always get homework. And I always expect you to do it, and I'll always know when you did it. Here's how I know. You won't have the changes, and you won't get what's next. It won't make sense. If you've done your homework, you'll be like, oh, okay, I like raring to go. If you don't do your homework, you're not going to get it, okay? Your homework is to set your timer, right? Find the timer on your clock, handy dandy timer, and then set it to go off in an hour. Set it to go off. Start. Now, when this thing goes off in an hour, I'm going to hit cancel. It's going to come back. Oops. I lost it. It's going to come back to the screen. And I'm going to reset this to go off in 3 minutes. And then I'm going to hit start, and I'm going to start breathing. I'm going to do my 3 breaths. I'm going to put my hands on my heart at the end of that last breath. I'm going to direct my awareness into my heart. That takes about 20 seconds. And then I'm going to stay here for the duration of that 3 minutes, just occupying my heart space. What you are doing is practicing getting coherent. You are practicing a state of coherence every time you do this. Now, if you did this for 12 times, so let's say you're awake for 12 hours during the day, and every hour that you're awake, you did this. 12 times 3 is 36. So you would technically be actively practicing for 36 minutes during the course of a day. Now, somebody would say, can I just do this for 36 minutes in the morning or in the evening and get the same result? And I would tell you no, because what we're after here is the continuing activating of the presence, your I am presence, your higher self, your spirit. We are after the continuing, like the frequent, fervent prayer idea. We're after the continuing activation of this presence. The more you do it, the better you get at it, the faster it happens, the quicker you realize it's you. The quicker you realize it's you, the quicker you realize it's you. And then things just change. You're not the same person if you know that you're the self inside of you. So it's 3 minutes every hour that you're awake. And people will tell me, I can't do that. I've got work. Practice around people. Practice at your desk. Practice when your boss is yelling at you. If you have your phone ready and you can even see a clock, 3 minutes, and he starts yelling and you breathe 3 times and just stand there like this, you go inside instead of outside, and he's rah, 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 or whatever it is, she's rah, rah, whatever the thing is. And I'm just like, You will actually drive them away, first of all, because they won't know what to do with you. And you're totally calm, right? It's the practice of doing that. So you can do it at work. If you're on the phone all day long, making calls or doing whatever, practice being coherent while you're on the phone. What an awesome place to practice. I drive all day long. You can't do this while you're driving. I do it all the time, especially while I'm driving, because you've got the lovely scenery and the road in front of you. You can't say you can't do this, because you can everywhere. I will butt up against you every time you say no. Excuse me, you absolutely can do this anywhere. And it's better if you do, because the more you practice it, excuse me, the more you practice it in outside situations, the stronger you become at it. The more used to your spirit you become, the more you recognize it's you. What would that feel like? Now, who are you? If that becomes you, who are you? What are the attributes of God? So this is kind of a religious teaching, excuse me, but it definitely applies here. What are the attributes? Those of you who know, type them below. What are the attributes of God that are taught? Right? So when they were teaching God stuff and you were listening and going, okay. Right? So love, peace, joy, happiness, contentment, gratitude. What else? Right? So the attributes of the higher level vibrational emotions, right? What we've labeled emotions are those things. Now, when you went into your spirit, what did you feel? I usually go straight into peace. It's like the peace that passes all understanding. It's called that because it makes no sense. It's mind-blowing. I go into this amazing peace and I just sit there. And I asked Spirit one day, can you teach me to do that? And I heard a no. I was like, why? You are that. Everything else you have been taught is not you. What you have not been taught is that is you. You are peace. You are love. You are joy. You are gratitude. It's not something you do. In its vibrational essence, in its vibrational form, it is what you are. It's what your spirit is. And if you are your spirit, then that is what you are. Does it make sense? You were taught anger. People will say, no, that's a fundamental human emotion. I beg to differ. I beg to differ. I think that you can have the neuropeptides of anger, right? They can well up in your system, or you can control them and you can paste love over them, right? If you keep the neuropeptides of love in your system, anger won't be there. It's not fundamental to the human system. It was taught to you. Fear. Go look at my video on fear, on the meaning of fear. The original meaning of fear is not what you were taught. It's not. And if you understand that the neuropeptides of fear and the neuropeptides of awe are eerily similar. Do you know what awe is? Add a little bit of dopamine or a little bit of oxytocin, maybe. Do you know what awe, when you get this just reverent awe feeling? Very, very eerily similar to fear. And fear, they teach you, like, how hard can we make you quake? How scared can we make you? All right, so what you're going to practice is 3 minutes every hour until I say stop. I would never stop. I guarantee you, though, if you do this for 3 weeks, plug it in, do it for 3 weeks, it will totally change your world. You won't be the same person. It's physically impossible when you're altering your chemical construction for 3 minutes every hour. Physically impossible to be the same person. All right, so I want you to play with that. Comment below. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know what you're noticing. And let me know very specifically, like during the course of the week, if you feel like a huge shift or a huge, I'm just curious. I just want to know what's going on. It's so much fun. I guarantee you're going to have a ball doing this. Next week, and probably before next week, I'll throw up another video on toroidal fields, your heart, your brain, and your gut. If you have a noisy brain and you have a hard time quieting it, this will help you do that. And it's just a good thing to practice because it gets your whole system quiet. And then we're just going to continue from there. The next big lesson, so this was class 1, the toroidal fields will be like 1A or something. The next class, session number 2, we're actually going to go through the ladder of awareness. It's directly tied to heart coherence. I call it beyond heart coherence because it's actually a way that you can utilize the system to clear stress, subconscious issues, traumas, pain, like physical issues. It's a direct way that you can engage the system to help clear out some of this stuff. And it's super easy. This is actually a process because of my own frustration that an angel gave me after repeated asking, like, show me something easier, because what Yeshua was doing definitely wasn't this. And if that was real, like, how is he doing that? Or how can I at least do something for myself that's easier than all the crap that I've been doing that isn't working? And so this is what I was shown, was this ladder of awareness. So that'll be next week. Your goal until then is to do the practice 3 minutes every hour. I witness myself as light as I witness you as light. I hope this blesses you. If it does, please share it around. Share the information to whatever channels you have. If you want to have a session with me, if you want to do some private work, you can email me at mindrewire@protonmail.com. That's mindrewire@protonmail.com until I get a calendar set back up, which I don't even know if I'm going to do. And then we'll go from there. If this takes you as far as I hope it does, if you truly practice the way you should, you will be blown away. You will be blown away. I thank you again. Subscribe, share, like, whatever on this channel that this is on. Do whatever you need to. And I will see you soon.